Good evening, lovely people. Thank you so much for spending your evening with me. I'm most honored. The past 7.5 years have been the darkest in my life, be it personally or professionally. Waking up in the mornings have been a drag, and sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I actually regret waking up because I was hoping I wouldn't. And I never thought I would find myself in such a situation, but I think, well, that's life, isn't it? I'm going to be sharing most of my life stories with you guys, and then also the next 20 years, as I have mentioned on my Facebook wall. I think about 28 years ago, 1993, after we graduated from Accra Academy 6th form, a very good friend and I, Daniel, alias MC Hammer, because he used to dance like MC Hammer, and as we all know, around that time, MC Hammer was the #1 entertainer in the world. And as we were gallivanting and walking around aimlessly in our neighborhood in South Morocco one evening, we were like, you know what, we got to find a way to make money because our parents were not going to support us anymore since we were out of school. So MC Hammer, Daniel, suggested that, look, why don't we organize a graduation party for senior high school students who are going to graduate in the next 2 weeks? I didn't know anything about, parties and stuff like that, but he was like, look, Don, I think we can make some quick money, so why don't we consider it? And I trusted his judgment because he's been my friend for many years. So the following day, we went to Kaneshi where he had a good friend who had a printing shop. We told that guy what we wanted to do, and the guy quickly ripped up a poster for us, a poster that was very colorful, very attractive, that had the right messages on it about the upcoming jumps for senior high school students. So right after that, we left and went to the market, Kaneshi Market, which was not too far from the guy's shop. And he actually got us some glue. I think they mixed it with something, and then it was like an industrial type of glue. And then we got some brushes as well. Right from there, we left and went to Bubuash. We started posting the posters. From there, we went to, you can name it, Odoko, Mampro B, Latabia Koshi, Zoti, everywhere there was a senior high school, we started posting, the posters. And we had 2 weeks to go. So we didn't really have any plan per se, but we just knew that, look, it's something that we're committed to, we're going to do. So we quickly realized that, look, we needed to have some to-do things, such as, okay, where are we going to get the DJ from? The guy, then we used to call the DJ a spinner back in the day. These days people say DJ, but then we used to call him a spinner. We also had to get, the party place, the hall. And then we also had to get the people who were going to serve the drinks and then the kebabs and stuff like that. So I said, you know what, I have this guy from Kokomemli, Terminal 2, the guy has a music shop. And back in the day, you didn't have like CDs and DVDs and stuff like that. We had cassette tapes. So this guy had a shop where they would mix tapes for you. And I used to go there because I love jazz and classicals and R&B. We used to call them cools then. So the guy would mix for me. So I went there, saw him, and I said, Moses, man, we have this gig coming up in a couple of days. We need you to come and DJ for us, and we need the best, man, because this is going to be the biggest party around here for the guys. It was like, you know what, okay, I'll see what I can do. Okay? So day in, day out, we kept on blasting and pasting the posters everywhere. Come D-Day, before that we went to Martin de Porres to try and get the school to allow us to use some of their classrooms for the gig. But then they were like, no, we can't actually give you guys a place because we have some American investors who are part of our institution and they may consider it a risk. So there was a club called Club 250. MC Hammer knew the place, so we went there. And I was the salesperson, I was the business developer amongst the two of us. And I went to talk to the lady who owned the place. It was a tough sell because she wanted down payment, we didn't have money. So I had to tell her that, you can charge us a premium, and then after the gig, we'll pay you for it. So she allowed us. So on the day of the event, I think it was a Saturday, around 2 p.m., the event was supposed to start around 5 p.m. So around 2 p.m., I left to Kukumeme to go and ensure that the DJ got all his stuff packed, and then, so we could head back to, the gig place. I got in there, and the truck that was supposed to convey the DJ and his equipment and his boards and stuff, the truck had broken down. It took about 2 hours or 2.5 hours to actually repair it. By the time I got back to the gig playground, Club 250, My partner, MC Hammer, had already also gone to find a backup because he couldn't hear from me. He didn't know what was happening. And we didn't have cell phones then. So, and I was like, dude, we can't have two guys, man. It's like, you know what? Well, they're already here. And I said, okay, let's use them as backup. I trust Moses because I've known Moses longer, and I know Moses will give us the best sound. So let's get Moses in. So Moses got in quickly. We got set up. So that was around like 6:30. By 7, the whole place outside was totally jam-packed. Totally jam-packed. Then we opened the gates. We started selling the tickets. People were just trooping in. We had a strong room where we had a mutual friend who was keeping an eye over there, a very young lady. I think she was about 19 years. She was keeping an eye on the monies. So as the ticket sales were going on, the bags were being filled, and they will take them. They'll move the bags from the entrance to the back room, and then I will be walking around. Hammer will also be walking around, just checking whether everything was okay. The kebabs were there, the drinks were there. There was no chaos. The people kept coming, and the bags keep on increasing. We were just making money. It's around 12 a.m. We realized that we had made so much money, and we said, why don't you just open the gates for everybody else to come in? Because at that point, we didn't have any more bags to collect any more money. And I think about 1:30 a.m., I said, yeah, guys, Hammer, look, I think it's enough now. Let's pack and leave. So we actually left the guys there whilst they were still partying, and then we left and went home. We dropped off our friend, a female friend, and I went home and Hammer went home. So we agreed that the following day, it was a Sunday, we're going to meet at Hammer's place and then count our money. So we went there in the afternoon, I think about probably 1 p.m. We kept on counting the money, the bags of money. We kept on counting. And it got to a point where Hammer stopped and started busting MC Hammer moves. And it's like, I'm no more MC Hammer, man. I'm Don Mel. I'm the latest mogul in town. I am rich. We kept on counting the money because we didn't have a money counter at that time. Well, we counted for a good number of hours, and then we decided to share the money 50-50. I took part of my money and gave it to the lady. He took part of his money and gave it to the lady. The lady kept on saying, okay, guys, what are you going to do with your money? I think you guys should open a bank account and save some of the money. We're like, yeah, we'll worry about that later. The following day was a Monday. Hammer and I went to Kokubule to shop. And I think he always laughs at me. He teases me with it. He said, Michael, you actually bought 4 different colors of the same shirt. You bought a pink shirt, a yellow shirt, a green shirt, and a blue shirt. That is how I spent my money. Thereafter, I actually had my BMW. I went in there, got my BMW re-sprayed, changed my engine, changed my rims, tinted the car a little bit, and got some badass, sounds in my car. The woofer was solid, the amplifier was wicked. When I'm playing my jazz or when I'm coming down the road, everybody knew the dawn was coming, man. What did Hammer do with his money? He had the biggest 21st birthday party. The biggest, the baddest. And we're talk of the town, and actually, our community. What were the lessons learned? A few months down the line, Ham and I went broke. We went back to our lady friend and said, Charlie, where's your money, man? Can you share some with us so that you guys are not serious? I told you guys to save some money for a rainy day, and we did it. But the most important lessons after, I took time to reflect over the years was this. We didn't really set out to set up a business. We just went out there to have fun. The lesson here is this. When you're setting up business, always look for a good co-founder, somebody that you can trust, somebody that you compliment and they compliment you, somebody that understands the vision, somebody that buys into what the agenda is, and where there's mutual respect and there's a lot of trust. So looking back at it, Hammer became my first co-founder in a business endeavor. And we're very, very good friends. And there's a lot of respect between us. But what we got wrong was we didn't understand money. And we thought that, because we were successful the first time, we'll always be successful again. So that's another important lesson. So guess what? Who had the last laugh? The lady had the last laugh because she still had her money, and Hammer and I were dead broke. Those were some of my interesting lessons as a young entrepreneur. And as our Tuesdays roll by, I'm going to be sharing more and more with you. About 3 or 4 months ago, I remember it was a Sunday afternoon whilst I was in my study reading, and I got a call from a friend. She was like, oh, my dad just passed last Friday. He complained early in the morning that he wasn't well. We took him to the hospital. Within 2 hours, he was gone. The week after, I noticed on Facebook that people were just posting RIP, RIP, different people were dying, you know, a good number of them COVID, some of them different underlying conditions here and there. Then in November, one of my best buddies, Atumod, of which most people know about because it's been in the news, Atumod passed. And Atumod was my best buddy when I was in Form 5 in St. Augustine's College. He had come there from Adisado College for his sixth form, and we were like really good friends, and we did a lot of crazy things together. Now here I was hearing the bad news of my good buddy. He was very young. I mean, filthy rich, let me put it that way. Now he's gone. Then it dawned on me that, look, there's something fundamentally wrong with the way we take care of our health, which includes me, because as I sit here right now, I honestly really don't know the true state of my health, of which most of people listening or watching right now don't really know the true state of their health. So they don't know me that, look, if truly we are gifted with this ability to innovate and do crazy things, then why don't we tackle healthcare? Because health is pivotal to everything that everybody does. If you don't have good health, you cannot be productive at work. You cannot be very productive and studious when you're in school. You cannot be a good spouse at home because, look, you're just not well. So everything else borders around good physical health. So then I was like, you know what, okay, prior to all of this, I've always wanted to be a billionaire in dollars, yeah? And I'm pushing 50. On March 3rd, I'm going to be 50 years old. I've been doing business for the past 30 years, and I'm so far away from being a billionaire in dollars. What am I going to do with the next 20 years of my life? I think it's about time I change the narrative. I look at something else. So then I said, you know what, why don't I commit the next 20 years to actually helping people? And helping people, what do I mean by that? Helping people increase their health span. And what is health span? Health span means that throughout your life, how many years have you had a relative good health? So let's say you have a lifespan of 70 years and you've been sick in total about 2 years. That means your health span has been about 68 years. So what I'm saying here is this: what if we find a smart way of being able to increase people's health spans, whereby people are able to live longer, but they're able to live very healthy lives, whereby they are not sick, and if they're going to be sick, then it's going to be really towards the very end where it's about time they got a pop, right? But how do you do that? So look, I've been thinking about it, and I thought about it myself and my team, and I was like, you know what? We are known for innovation. We do crazy stuff. Why don't we try to transform? Why don't we try to help people? And I said to myself, well, you know what? If I'm not going to be a billionaire in dollars, then let me touch the lives of 1 billion people. The next 20 years, we are going to commit to impacting the lives of 1 billion people all over the world, no matter where you are. If you are in Bhutan, you are in Tibet, you are in China, you are in Zambia, you are in Benin, you are in Ivory Coast, wherever you are, we are going to create a platform and a movement whereby we are going to increase the health span of people. Now, how are we going to do that? It's not something that's going to be done by myself alone. It's something that we are all going to do collectively. A lot of times people ask me, Michael, why don't you write a book? Because you have interesting life experiences. Why don't you do a podcast? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I've thought about it, and upon reflecting upon it, I said to myself, do I really want to do that now? Or do I wait till when I'm 70 and there's a lot more to write about? But what I've also realized is this. A lot of the books I have read, and for those who follow me on Facebook and actually pay attention to my post, you're going to realize that I do a lot of reading. But most of the books I've read are basically about things done in the West. I hardly find good books or stories about African entrepreneurs and change makers and stuff like that. Yes, we have different in the social sector, but when it comes to like serious business, I haven't really found any. So instead of waiting till my story or our story is written, why don't we create a movement whereby real time, as we pursue this new goal of transforming the lives of 1 billion people, why don't we create an opportunity whereby the story is not told by just the actors, but all the other participants. So you guys who are listening to me, you're going to be part of that chapter. And we're going to do this for the next 20 years. Now, how is it going to work? We're going to take the first part, which is making sure that you're physically healthy. And what goes into that? We have to be able to develop or innovate a solution whereby real time, close to 24/7, you or us have an idea as to your health status. Just like an antivirus software you have on your laptop or on your computer. Because most times, before you get a virus or malware, your antivirus is able to detect it. What if we had a way to detect that, your glucose level is increasing by the day at this rate? Which means that in the next couple of months or years, you're going to probably have diabetes, or your BP is actually increasing at this rate. You're actually having these lows and highs, and your HRV and stuff like that is increasing. So what we want to be able to do is this. At the end of the day, we want to be able to predict when people are going to fall sick before they fall sick, so we can do early detection and then address it. And to be able to do that, we definitely have to have the smartest technology, but we can't do that alone. We have to do that with people. And with people, I mean people that understand the true essence and the true essence of life, plus the value in that good health is priceless. You can have all the money in the world. If you don't have good health, you have nothing. You have nothing. So what I'm saying is this: in the next 20 years, every Tuesday, we're going to have these sessions. I call it Tuesdays with a Mental Catalyst. It's not about Tuesdays with Michael or Manko or Don Miller. The Mental Catalyst is basically an ideology. It's a movement, similar to what, let me use the analogy of James Bond. We've had Sean Connery play James Bond, Roger Moore, Daniel Craig. So what it means that tomorrow, somebody else can be the Mental Catalyst. But what I'm going to do is I am going to live my life in the clear view of everybody, transparently. I'm going to be naked for you guys to realize that, together we can transform the world. We can actually change civilization, humanity, and people can actually live long and healthy. Now here's the massive benefits to it. A lot of times, when you go through life trials and tribulations and all the challenges and the lessons, there's so much to share. But most times, by the time that people are ready to share, which is obviously in their old age, they're fighting ill health. So they don't really have the time and then the strength to actually share. So what it means is that a lot of good people who have wisdom to share for the younger ones to actually leverage such that their path to success is shortened. They don't have the opportunity to do that because guess what? Our lifestyles, the kind of food we eat and stuff like that, does not afford us the opportunity to live long and healthy at the end of the day. But if we're able to actually increase the health span of people, then what it means is that all of that wisdom and all of that knowledge power can actually be transferred down, and together we're able to move our generations further and forward. Okay? So since we're going to do this every Tuesday going forward, the agenda is going to be set, it's going to be rolling, it's going to be evolving. Other people are going to come on board as we roll along, but the lessons are going to be priceless. I personally have learned so much. I have been searching for my purpose in life for a very long time. I've been in very dark places. I have, in the past 3 months, felt like a total failure. But come 31st December, I said to myself, you know what? I am a lion. There's no way I'm going down this way, man. I got to come up on top. If I'm not going to be a billionaire, there's got to be a way to leave a legacy in this world. And I'm not going to do it alone. Because guess what? At the table of witness, the conversation is different. And what I want you guys to do, no matter where you are, I want you to join me, change and transform humanity. And we are going to do it starting with what? People having good health. Once you have good health, everything else you can achieve. If you don't, then you got problems. The life lessons, we'll talk about love, we'll talk about relationships, we'll talk about how to deal with employees, we'll talk about customers, we'll talk about being overly ambitious, we'll talk about, not sleeping and chasing, the wind. We'll talk about all of those things. And I will use all my experiences, which I have a lot of interesting stories because I have been there. We'll talk about, look, when I was almost homeless, when I couldn't even afford a meal, just because every little money I had to use it to sort people out because I became indebted, because I found myself in financial services. I will share all of that because at the end of the day, when we don't share our individual lessons and experiences, how do we become better? So this is our first maiden event. It's going to start every Tuesday, and the agenda is going to grow. And when the platform is ready, which is almost ready, because come next 10 days, it's going to be tested. And we're going to invite some people to actually test, and we are going to start the process. So people are going to learn about, look, how do you handle a startup? How do you bootstrap? How do you get the people to actually do work? How do you find the resources? How do you find the advices? We're going to be teaching, we're going to be exposing all of that, because guess what? These are things that we don't easily find or have access to. And I'm saying that, look, I am going to sacrifice myself. I will be the guinea pig. And I have my reservations because, I have two voices in my head saying, Michael, don't do this. You are painfully private. You're an introvert. Why would you want to put your life out there? But what good is it if I don't put it out there for others to learn from it? If I'm able to even get one person to benefit from it, I think my life's purpose on earth is done. So guys, until we meet again next week, take care. Thank you for coming. I love you guys, and keep wearing your mask. It's about time, and we are going to make a big difference. Thank you so much.